and he drops it on the sidewalk while I'm watching from my window.
Recapping last time on.
He didn't know I saw him do it. He dropped it, he picks it up, looks around sheepishly, gets in the truck and drives off. And I'm like, what the F did I just witness?
Mm-hmm.
The Crazy Picker Life with Wheeler, Dealer, and Banana Peeler.
Oh, good morning, crazy pickers and would-be adventurers. This is Frozen Icicle Dealer with the Crazy Picker Life. Oh my goodness. I thought I was an old Eskimo-like person coming from Wisconsin. I thought I could handle it, but I was wrong. It's 16 degrees out and breezy. Oh my goodness. I don't like that. I'm gonna need a tunnel from my home to my office. That's what I need. I'm gonna start building that today. Okay, well, it is Saturday and I'm supercharged. Here's what's going on today. I may or may not show it, but later we're gonna have questions and answers. Later for me, it may happen on this video, but I'm definitely gonna keep the front end of this video short, and then we're gonna go to a comfy, cozy question, answer, comment, talk about all kinds of business stuff. Show. Oh, I don't have time to talk to Wheeler on camera. We could be here for hours. Wait, that's what we'll do later. So I am going to buy or look at some furniture with Lon this morning. That's exciting. And I'm meeting with her about business things later. That's exciting. Somewhere in between all that, I'm going to pack orders and do a bunch of work around the office. And I guess I'm signed up for more basement project work at home. So I better get busy. But let me see what else was going to go on here that's exciting. I think there's not going to be much to show today. I'm going to focus on getting stuff done, and then we're going to get together and have Q&A. I knew one thing I was going to show before I erased it and moved these numbers up to our daily totals. I said we didn't make it yesterday. I guess I counted my chickens backwards before they didn't hatch. So about 10:30 last night, I sent Banana Peeler over and I said, all right, go check what Wheeler's doing. How much does he have listed? Because I was thinking about listing the sign I had or not. And so BP goes over there and he comes back and goes on about $300. I'm like, $300? We're supposed to hit 1,000. So I asked BP what he had, and he had 110 or whatever. And I decided to list my sign anyway, and I had 200. So I thought, well, we aren't gonna make it. I was fine with that. And then Wheeler did his count and he listed like, I don't know, 29 items, 35 items, I don't know. And he had some manuals and some things in there that were $50, $70, $80. And when he added it all up, we made it. So I guess we're still in the game. And at this point, so, you know, last month was such a woo that this month I just didn't expect much. And so I'm not negative about it. I'm not like on Wheeler about it to list. I could care less. We're just moving forward this month. December we'll have a better goal, or we'll be more focused. Sometimes after a killer month like that, you just got to let off steam. And this is a let off steam month. So anyway, last week, yesterday, we had 38 items as a trio, 1135. And we're doing pretty good. You can add that 1135 to 15 for the month. We're still having a nice solid listing month.
Ooh. Ooh. Changes. Back there. That's right. It's when you're changing, it changes the aspect ratio.
Oh, yeah.
4 by 3 to 16 by 9. Whatever the heck it's doing.
Okay. Y'all ready?
I'm ready to go.
Crazy Picker Live question and answer session 3040. Take 1. Okay, well, I'm a dealer.
And I'm Wheeler.
And this is Crazy Picker Life question and answer. So, the day went quick. What did you do?
Did a lot of different things today. I figured out a bunch of watch batteries, figured out a bunch of camera batteries, sorted a bunch of stuff, cleaned my office a little bit, and then worked a bunch of shutter releases and processed about 1,000 items today total. But didn't list ridiculous. I'm at like 25 listings.
What does processed mean?
Process means kind of tested, sorted, got ready for listing, took it out of the tote and kind of made it so it's in a more listable state.
So pre-list.
Pre-list, yep.
Okay. Well, I packed some things and did a lot of stuff around the house. I got your toilet working correctly.
Yep.
Scrubbed a bunch of stuff downstairs that needed cleaning, and it's looking pretty good down there.
Yep.
Got a clothes rod in the the younger boys' bedroom so they can hang some clothes.
Cool.
A lot of miscellaneous. Had a meeting with my wife Lon about financials and things like that. It went well, although I have to admit, even though it went well, I feel like I got run over by a road grader.
Road grader, like a cheese grater, except on the road.
Yeah, well, cheese grater.
Oh, well, that's okay. I forgot there's a machine called a road grader. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's a big thing that flattens the road.
Now I think about it. I thought cheese grater was
steamroller.
Yeah, I thought us between like a steamroller and a cheese grater. It's like, it's kind of strange.
Yeah, so progress was made, but I'm still I'm coming off of it. I'm trying to soften up.
Yeah. Be tenderized a little bit.
Oh my gosh. So, as promised, here is our question and answer comment section. We're going to take your questions and comments off of YouTube, and I actually did get one here that somebody snuck through on eBay, and I don't encourage anybody to do that. Probably setting a bad precedence by answering a question that came through on eBay.
Yep.
People that contact us through on eBay, I don't really mind it, but it is mostly for business, and so I'll just leave it at that. I'd rather you contact me about the show. I'd rather contact us through YouTube, and if you have a specific business type thing, then maybe, or it'd be better through YouTube for the most part. One thing we will do here, in fact, we might as well do it while I'm thinking about it. Before I do that, though, we do these question and answer sessions once in a while.
Yep.
I don't remember when the last one was.
We just did one.
Probably was about 30 days ago. Well, we did a wrap-up show.
I see.
After our big listing month in October. And then our last question and answer was something like questions and answers, we don't hold anything back.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember what that was. And so that was about 30 days ago. We probably will try to do a question and answer thing like this as long as there are questions and answers and such. And I've got my computer over here on my cart.
My computer over here too. Invisible computer that nobody can see. Off-screen computer nobody can see.
Yeah, well, I would pick this whole thing
Imaginary.
up. This tripod that we're on is like...
It weighs 100 times what the camera weighs.
So we'll try to do another one in 30 days. If your question does not get answered because it didn't pop up in the time we have allowed for this, or for whatever reason we missed it, try again in 30 days. I'll announce it a few days ahead and we'll hit it. I'm going to put our screen eBay IDs out now on the screen.
Whoa, fancy editing dealers at work.
And so they're going to be there. There's 4 of them I'm going to put up there. We have our camera channel, which will be the top one most likely, that Canon guy. We have general cool merchandise, which is Northwest Kansas. We have our watch channel, Northwest Kansas Watches.
Yep.
We have my beer signs, that air guy. And of course there's underscores and all that. It should be right here by now if I paid attention to my editing and remembered to put it in.
If the show didn't go to 10 hours and you kind of skipped the editing process.
Yeah, if I ran past my 11 o'clock cutoff to relax on Saturday nights. So I don't think a lot of other YouTube channels put that out there.
Yeah.
I've seen it and I've not seen it in a lot of cases.
Yep.
And, you know, the way I feel about it is if somebody really, and I probably shouldn't even say it, if somebody wanted to really mess with us, they could go there and mess with us. We're trying to be good stewards and show what we're doing in our eBay and Amazon business. We're trying to share that information. And I would say mostly what we get back is positive.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to put those things out there. You know, if somebody's going to mess with us, they're going to mess with us. But I think that's the mindset why more YouTubers don't put that out there, is they don't want people coming to their place of business that close to them and like getting in there.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe some of them don't want to really show you what they're doing because maybe what they're doing isn't lining up with necessarily what they're saying. In this business, in YouTube, in life, a lot of people will try to fake it till they make it.
Yeah.
And there is some positive mindset that goes along with that. I mean, if you're a small eBay business and you want to be a big eBay business, I have no problem with people acting like that to a point.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to be a fast runner, you got to start doing what fast runners do. But I do think some people try to be what they're not.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Posers.
Well, yeah. So we're going to put it up there. There it was. Now, this is a beer that I can barely pronounce. Friedenfelser.
Friedenfelser.
The original, see, it doesn't even get any better. The original Bererschieses beer.
Final Zuggy.
Yeah, it's definitely German, but it probably isn't even.
They brought nach dem Reis. Yeah.
I do think a lot of those Germans drank way too much beer. Whenever your town name is like 17 letters long.
Well, it's funny, actually, I ran across a thing recently, like there's this website that you can compare different states, or not different states, different countries on all different types of things. One thing that was like one of the top search things is the most beer. Which countries? I think the first one was Ireland. Must be Ireland.
Belgium.
Yeah, it was Ireland and then Germany and then some more below that.
Well, all those European.
Yeah, Germany was second. So
European nations, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, think from a manufacturing standpoint or an advertising standpoint, if you had your sign and you had like a 5-letter name, and then imagine having to fit like the name
60-letter
name of your company. And
You're Russian / German.
Yeah, your German needs a little sharpening.
Well, that was half Russian.
Right on the border. Right?
Half Russian.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we're going to get into the questions, answers, comments here. We're going to try to roll this out for about an hour. We'll see how it goes. Wheeler tells me he has some listing to do yet tonight.
Yep, I need to get a little bit more just to hit our 1,000.
Yeah, we're going
to do that.
Well, we're going to get a little help from Banana Peeler, but he tells me he's not very ambitious to dip into my items, and he's just about out of items.
Pizza coma / pistachio ice cream, maybe?
He left the freezer open, by the way.
Oh, he did. He opened it.
Yeah, well, okay. So I come into the office, and the freezer's open this much.
Not my fault. Blaring on BP, man!
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around this world. Finger pointing. Not my fault. Take some responsibility, people. Good grief. Okay, so questions. Here's the one that came in on eBay. And again, you know, you can contact us wherever you want. I would prefer that you contact us on YouTube. And just let's keep YouTube, and eBay is where we do business.
Yep.
Hello, dealer. I'm asking, what is Wheeler's YouTube and eBay or other sales sites names? So your eBay is my eBay. We just listed all those.
Yep.
Your YouTube is actually your name, and I don't know.
All the cool people do it now, but I'll leave a comment down below and you can click on my name. I'll say, hey, I'm Wheeler.
Okay, so what you'll do for the people that want is you'll leave a comment on this video, and then they can click on and look at your stuff.
Exactly.
All right, good idea. I've been taking your ideas to better my sales. Thank you. I've been working on selling tools, getting organized, working on finding new places to source. Question: what do you do about health insurance and shipping price for heavy items for long distance shipping from New York to California or Washington State? Thanks again. Health insurance, my wife still works a full-time job. They've got a good plan. We do everything through that. Shipping price for heavy items. Well, one of the reasons we moved to the middle of the United States, and it wasn't a big reason, and it worked out nicely, is I was in a business that when I moved out here, I was at the end of a business with these air purifiers of shipping these things all over the United States.
Yep.
And it is nice to be centrally located, but most of our shipping is 2 or 3 days UPS or USPS to either coast, and that's where most people live. So where do we send most of our stuff? Well, California, Texas, Florida, East Coast. And so no matter what, our shipping rates are kind of... Now on camera gear, we do mostly free shipping.
Yep.
Most of our camera gear, half of it is probably first class, so it doesn't matter. First class rates don't change much, if at all. Priority mail, that's a problem on free shipping. We bite it sometimes because some of those things, as the price gets reduced on our nobody wants it, and then all of a sudden it gets reduced and somebody wants it, sometimes shipping is a big part of that.
There's a reason it sells for that low, because nobody else could ship it for less.
Well, that's part of it.
Shows up as the cheapest one listed.
Yeah, so occasionally we bite it hard on that. Most everything else besides camera gear, I put shipping on. And so the person pays for shipping because it's calculated, either UPS or USPS. And typically that covers the cost of the box and packing material too. Now on all our foreign orders, which is probably 20, 25, 30% of our business, I don't know, 20, 25%, the free shipping on the camera stuff goes out the window, and they pay full shipping. So if you're in New York and you're shipping a lot of stuff to California, which you could be, I would recommend charging shipping to those people. And if you need to be competitive, you might have to take a little hit on certain things.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine what UPS and USPS priority from New York to Chicago is on a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pound. It's probably quite a bit. It's probably like us shipping to Alaska.
That's what I was thinking.
Or
Yeah.
Hawaii. Or to Florida.
Yeah.
So you have to build that in. And you know, if it comes down to your margin is a little tighter, well, you have to build that into your whole scheme of things. You can't just make something out of nothing.
Yep.
Now, if you are selling too many things that are so competitive that your margin isn't enough to justify it, you're going to have to look for better things. Because if your margin on an item is $100 and you have to suck it up and take $5 of that 100 and cut it on your price or your shipping to be competitive with everybody else, that's not going to kill you. But if you're selling items where there's a $10 margin and you have to cut $5 out of that, that cuts into your margin pretty much. Any thoughts on that, Wheeler?
Well, shipping can be one of your biggest expenses in a lot of cases, depending on the weight of the item.
Yeah.
That's the price. If it's too cheap,
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because in the camera market, we've positioned ourselves as an expert. We're able to get a premium on a lot of things. We also find and identify a lot of things that there's not a lot of competition on.
Yep.
So you don't have to get in the camera business, but you should try to find some things in your area of expertise or in your regional area that you can get some sort of a competitive advantage on. Whether the condition's better, like out here, stuff lasts better. In Wisconsin, where we were from, a lot of things rust because of the salt and the winters and the changes in temperature. And certain things, outside things, don't last as long. So getting certain things out here that last longer, like beer crates, compared to Wisconsin, that's a competitive advantage. In Wisconsin, if somebody's buying beer crates to sell, they're buying them from a store, an antique store. Out here, I find them occasionally for $5 behind somebody's house, and they're still in good enough shape to sell.
Yeah. Well, you can see that sort of in the American Pickers, how they have to sort through, like, well, what do you call it? Element protected barns and stuff to find stuff in some cases out there.
Right.
And even that stuff sometimes is pretty rusty gold.
So really the shipping should not be an issue if you are picking the right items in your expertise, and you can become more or less an expert in them and describe them better, pick out the ones that are in better condition, offer a better guarantee because you know it works, because you're good at it, or buy some items in your regional area that give you some sort of a competitive advantage and make that shipping a non-event. Now on the other end of it, how many items do we send to New York and the whole East Coast? A lot.
A lot, yeah.
So if you were to send if you're in New York and you're sending an item to New York or the East Coast, you actually have a competitive advantage in shipping right there over us sending from the Midwest to New York.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's a horse apiece.
Yeah, because sometimes if I need something quick, I'll make sure, like, I'll put in find the closest one to my location, because then I'll get it a day quicker most of the time if they ship it up promptly.
So I would say if you're living in New York, shipping-wise, you've got no disadvantage people-wise for anybody else because you've got a heck of a lot of people there.
Yep.
I love shipping to, let's say, Colorado, Denver. 3 pounds priority mail is only like $7 or under.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen as often as shipping to California, which 3 pounds is going to get me into the $10, $12 range pretty quickly. And so, horse apiece. All right. Lost my...
Computer down.
I got to try to keep questions short enough so my thing doesn't go off. Question: I realize that items in their original packaging can be worth lots more, but when the packaging is trashed, when the packaging is trashed, but the item is in nice condition, is it better just to sell it without the packaging? Okay, so there's new items in packaging. Obviously, something brand new in packaging that's hot to trot out there is worth a lot more than a used item.
Yep.
The question is, if that packaging is trashed, but the item is good inside, would it be better to sell it with the trash packaging and the item inside saying it's new, or would it be better just to take it out of there? Well, I would say it would depend on the item.
Definitely. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
New old stock, like things from the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, if it's in the package and the package is bad, but you can verify the item is good, I think it's good to include the packaging.
Yeah.
Because it verifies to somebody that, yeah, there's the packaging. You know, you're not just saying it's new.
Yep. Exactly.
I would say in most cases, the packaging coming along with it is a good idea. Now, if the packaging got wet and it smells like ass,
yeah,
or if it got dipped in something like gasoline, or if it looks like it was on fire, or, I mean, you could come up with about 100.
The thing is, I'd say 50% of the time that it looks or smells like that, the item inside is also trash. So in the rare occasion where it's like that, you throw the packaging. But for the most part, like I was going to say with cameras and the like, is that packaging that I've had that's in really bad shape, usually I'll still include it along with the item. Sometimes, like, I'll fold the box up and stick in a plastic bag and then show the item and the bag separately, but still say the original package is included, poor shape. I'll do that sometimes if it's really, it won't hold the item without deteriorating or something, but...
If you have a specific example that you want to shoot to us, we could probably, you know, give you a heads up on it or give you our opinion on it. There, on eBay, where you show your own pictures and you make all these descriptions, it's easier than on Amazon. Amazon is always better with packaging that's closer to mint.
Yep.
I have sold some open box things on Amazon as new, and that is a no-no, but I still have done it successfully in certain situations. Higher end things. I just describe it as such, and it tends to work out. Now, you can get stung, and Amazon doesn't like some of that. There are, for example, I sell diabetic test strips. The ones that I get that have stickers all over them and black magic marker all over them and the boxes are mangled, I would never put those on Amazon, because when people buy from Amazon, the perception is they're actually buying from like a brick and mortar store that's selling on Amazon. And so I always put my pristine stuff on there. Okay, question. So how much does this workspace warehouse cost? Ballpark number. Just curious, except it was spelled
Kayosh.
Kayayoyes.
I'm just Kayosh.
I'm just Kayayoyes. Well, I'm assuming the question is about this space we're in right now.
Yep, almost out of recording time here. It's going to shut off after about 30 seconds.
So originally when we moved in here, it was $500 a month rent. And obviously there's other expenses like electricity, computer, insurance, whatever.
Yep.
Heat. We added the back room. That was $200 a month. We pay $700 a month in rent. All the other expenses add, $500 or something a month by the time you have high-speed internet, electricity, insurance, heat, gas, all that. So reasonably inexpensive. Obviously, we're in a small town in the middle of nowhere, and there are buildings available. So $700 a month, that's really good. I forget how many square feet we have, 1,500?
Yeah.
Something like that. So it does give us a competitive advantage. However, when we pick, we got to travel 300 miles.
Yep.
This thing going to end? I'm going to keep going.
It's going to end.
Oh my gosh.
2320 ends at like 2335.
Oh my goodness.
Running into the ground.
Yeah, stop. When you get close to running into the wall, floor it.
Floor it. Yeah. Start wrapping the questions. Start going rapid fire. That's the time for lightning round.
Question and answer. I have a 17-year-old son as well, and his interests constantly change. Really?
Wow, I wonder.
I don't know anybody like that.
No, not at all.
If Wheeler decided to go to college to pursue a career, would you continue the watches and cameras on your own or have to hire help? Love your videos, guys. Keep it up. Well, nope. I'd have to get out of cameras and watches for the most part because I have no expertise, very little expertise. I probably could buy them, but then I wouldn't want to list them. So I probably would go back to finding another niche. I'm not sure. My beer sign would be my niche. I'd probably go back to general merchandise and just sell out what we have.
Yep. I'm definitely not planning on going to college anytime soon, and I'm not planning on like going away and pursuing something else. I'm here for a while at least. Next 5 years.
So I kick the bucket and he inherits it.
I don't know.
Okay.
Planning on being in it for the long run.
Cool.
Definitely have changing hobbies and stuff, but I have way too many of those, and this one's pretty much not really a hobby anymore.
For your question and answer, in what areas would you like to see Wheeler up his game as it relates to the 12-month business plan you outlined in the recent video? With the construction of your new building, what, if any, changes do you see happening with your picking? For example, what you pick, how often you pick, how you organize your inventory, etc. I don't know. Wheeler's game is pretty high. I mean, we have different things that we're better at and different things that we're worse at. And so really to expect Wheeler to excel at all the things I excel at is not realistic, just as probably him or myself to excel at the things you're good at isn't that realistic. And so I think the biggest thing that we need to do is communicate so that we both know where we're at, what is expected, what we both have to do to make this thing go.
Yep.
And the maturity level that Wheeler has progressed in over the last 5 years is acceptable and has exceeded my expectations. I do expect a lot from you.
I'm super mature. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
You know, not everybody's expected to do all things. And so I'm hoping and planning and working towards having a group in this business that can handle all the different aspects of this business with some overlap with strengths and weaknesses so that some one person doesn't have to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
I have strengths and weaknesses. When I started this business, my weaknesses were really hard to overcome, and I had to do those right along with my strengths. Now I've been able to take some of my weaknesses or things I don't want to do, and I've been able to outsource them.
Yep.
And it's thank goodness that you like what you do, because not everybody does. So I don't know if I'm really needing you to up your game. I mean, we already operate at a pretty high level.
Yep.
I mean, the one thing that I've mentioned recently that I've wanted you to up your game is we need, when we get the new inventory numbering system, we need to both be on the same page and do it.
Yep.
Because we do have some problems with some of our numbering and things like that. And
inventory has went through a few different cycles and generations.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's really it's a growing pain to some degree. But so I don't know. What do you want to up your game? Do you have any answer for that?
Not really. It's just day by day mental game. Eventually, just stay where I'm at as long as I keep going.
Well, I want
consistent.
I want you to keep learning about watches and cameras.
Yep.
So that we can buy the best stuff.
Yep.
Just become more valuable on that. I'm not really cross-training you on how to run every aspect of this business right now. If you had a desire to do that, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, we already had you pack packages, and half of them looked like
balloons,
pigs stuffed in sausage skin with a label stuck on there.
Take the item, surround it in bubble wrap, jam it into a box. Yeah, it
So
looks great.
that just wasn't your thing.
No, it's great. I'm great at it. Well, it kind of correlates with how I pack for trips too. Like, man, I jam as much as I'm very good at efficient packing.
You're very
way more
optimistic on what can fit in there.
So I just realized the correlation between those two.
Yeah, so if you got an item this big, you can pack it in a box this small.
Well, yeah, you just have to kind of like mash it down a little bit,
Right.
squish it in there, no big deal.
So I don't expect Wheeler to change your packing ability.
Yeah.
For example,
Mm-hmm.
you would not be first on my list to be the packing person.
Yep.
Now, different skill sets. Your mom, on the other hand, I think would be a reasonable packer.
Mm-hmm.
She would be able to do that for whatever reason. However, I don't think she would be a good lister of cameras or watches.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have the interest, technical interest, and skill to do that. So different skill sets.
Yep.
All right. Anything else? New building, changes to picking, how often you pick. No, not really, because really the building is being built to amplify what we're currently doing rather than build the building and then change our business around the building. The building is
The building's not the main hub of
No.
what's changing. The building's just a side effect or
it's a tool.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
The building is being built to fit the current business and where it's heading, as opposed to the other way around.
Yep.
So, no, I think it will allow us to buy more, whatever we want or whatever. It's not going to constrain us in any shape or fashion.
Nope.
It depends. Initially, it might, because we might have a little less space, but I've got ways to deal with that too. We can always rent space or whatever.
Those are 15-foot high crazy shelves,
Whatever we need
giant
to do.
rolling ladders,
Yeah, we'll see.
like a library.
What is your criteria for using the best offer option? I was using it 95% of the time. Now I'm leaning more towards just buy it now with no best offer except for bigger items mostly. In a way, it seems like I'm talking myself down on my own items with best offer, where just a flat price shows a bit more confidence. Yeah, we used to use best offer maybe a little bit more, and we still do use it on larger items. What I don't like about it is, I think what you just hit on, the confidence. Some people do use it all the time, and I'll tell you what, when I buy something from those people, I always give them an offer. I don't, I unless it's a $3 item and I don't want to wait for them to get back to me or something.
Or it's a really good deal and there's a whole bunch of watches, you feel like you're gonna lose it, so usually I'd shoot an offer to see if they have the auto accept thing on, but otherwise I'll probably just go for it.
Yeah.
Unless it's something I really don't need.
So we do a price reduction strategy. So some of our listings are 10-day listings, which means they are buy it nows for 10 days and then you have to relist them. Some of them are 30-day. Camera stuff is 10-day.
Yep.
We want to keep that stuff moving. Every 10 days, anything $20 and higher in the camera business, we reduce the price of that by 5%. So a $100 item after 10 days, if it doesn't sell, gets reduced to $95. So what I don't like about the best offer option is if we put it on high price things and we go through a bunch of 5%, 5%, 5%, pretty soon it's down so low that the best offer thing on there, it's like, well, what are you going to do?
Oh yeah, you see something that you started listing at like 150 your best offer, now it's down to 20 your best offer. And you're like, oh, we take 5? No, I can't ship it for less than 15.
So we really try to come up with a price that's towards the top end of what it'll sell for. And occasionally you run into something that you don't know if you're going to snag somebody or not. But we don't use best offer very often.
Yep.
Maybe 1 out of every 200 listings or something.
Yeah, because really how I would say it is that the only time I really use best offer is on some of the other watches and stuff, and most of the time I would use best offer on items I'm not so confident about what they'll sell for. Like there's not a lot of track record, so I price it higher and then best offer, but that's rare occasions.
Yeah, and I think I've encouraged myself and you just to put a price on there and forget about the
anything that I'm confident on, I'll price up. And
I would rather just not even have it anymore.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a power position.
No, definitely not.
What has also changed is eBay now allows you to make offers back at somebody in a reply on an email.
Yep.
Or a message. And so somebody can message you on eBay and they can say, hey, I see that for $100. Would you take 90 right now? I'll pay right now. And, depending on when it catches you or the situation or the item, you might say yes, you might say no. If you say yes, you can message them back and you can, here's how we do it. We say, yeah, we'll accept 90. I just sent you the offer. And then you send that message and then you go back and send them another message and then there's a button on there that you can click that says send offer.
Yep.
And then you can do that. So people that are savvy buyers know that that's available, and so they will message you if they think your price is too high, or even if they don't, because they want to save some money, and then the negotiation can start right there. So typically the people that do that are some of the people you want to sell to, though, because they might be the wholesalers, or they might be people who buy a lot, or they might know those items. Most recently I had somebody say, hey, I want to buy all your trains, all your O-gauge trains, and it was like 4 lots. Would you take this? And I said, well, I can't take that, but I would take, 200. I think they wanted it for like 175 or something. And they said, great. And so I sent them 4 offers on 4 different items somehow. Somehow I did it, but I didn't have make offer on the individual lots, although I was able to do something like that relatively easily with the 4 lots.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, we don't use it very often.
Nope, definitely not.
This is pretty good question. Do you believe dealing with items that you enjoy having around justifies paying up more than ideal and pricing on the high end that could take over a year to find a buyer and recoup your investment? Now, first of all, no, I don't. And second of all, are you talking about my beer sign business? My beer sign business is a special niche. Currently, if I had to live off my beer sign business, I could not do it. And the reason I do my beer sign business is threefold. One, I like beer signs, which has nothing to do with the business other than I like working with the beer advertising and the beer signs, and so I enjoy it, and if I can work with it, that's cool. 2, they are a high dollar, high margin item that is reasonably easy to ship, and that's good. That's a good kind of an item. Mm-hmm. The third reason that I'm in the beer sign business like I am is because we have other business units that are cranking out daily orders almost as much as we can keep up with. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that we need to do in our business is have higher end items that have higher margin, that takes less of them to ship to make money. You only got to sell a couple a month, and you're making pretty good money. And I've got extra money to spend on inventory. So I could go out and buy 600 more small items to list and drive myself insane, or I could buy some high-end things that have high markup, high tail. Sure, I got to have them around for a while, but it's a good investment.
Yep. And they tend to sell quicker than you think.
Well,
as I've noticed.
Yeah, and I have to admit that I don't price all of them competitively because I like them. I'm not in that much of a hurry to sell them. Mm-hmm. Is it a collection or is it inventory? Is it for sale or is it for show?
It's a clever way to display your inventory.
No, everything is for sale. And as I have already shown, I've sold 2 of my signs in the last 30 days. One for $400 after expense profit. That's pretty good on one item. And another one for $600 after expenses profit.
Yep.
Hard to complain with that.
Yep.
So would I recommend a business like that for the average seller? And that's all you do? No.
Nope.
Would I recommend that for any sane person? Well, maybe, but you got to have the right reasons to do it. I've just laid mine out. I think it's a great investment long term too. I think it's as good as investment as anything worldly right now, because the price is going up as fast as anything else. If there's a world around in any capacity like it is now, beer signs will be collectible.
Yep. So I guess I'll say my thing on it. Like occasionally when we're on the field, I see a camera that's pretty cool and I like the look of it, and I'll pay up for that kind of thing a little bit more. So that sort of is less margin, whatever, but usually doesn't take too long to sell. And I move it out and we still make money on it, and we pick it up along with other stuff. So I do that occasionally. Stuff I haven't seen before, stuff that's pretty cool.
And we have the luxury of doing that because we have a real business where a lot of items are selling.
Yep.
We're making good money. Our sales per month are high. So we do reward ourselves from time to time, and it's a learning thing too when you pick up something that you like or haven't
Definitely.
seen and you want to, mess around with it.
Yep, it's a learning thing, and it's almost like a different type of rental. You're renting something and then making money on it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. You're not actually paying money to rent it.
In the early days of eBay, right around the turn of the century, I was listening to a lot of tapes, and they weren't just motivational. They just were business type tapes where people used to put ideas and things on tapes, and you'd listen to them and learn about business and marketing and all that kind of stuff. Some motivational, some big thinking, all that. Then they went to CDs, and for a while there, I would buy them on eBay, and I'd resell them on eBay, and I'd buy them so well that when I resold them, I first of all get to use them for weeks or months, depending on how much I liked them, and then I'd sell them for more.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
So you can, you can do that. I know that, and it is a whole different deal, but I know that Craigslist Hunter in his store sells DVDs for like $1 in his store, $1 or $2, and he buys them for, I don't know, 50 cents or something. And a lot of people go there, and he's like a rental house. people buy the DVDs from him for $1 or $2. They watch them for a while, and then they bring them back and sell them to him for 50 cents. And it's like a rental thing. So
Yeah.
sometimes we do that with things that we buy and sell. This camera that I bought to shoot this vlog on, I bought it so well that if I wanted to sell it used, I could still get most of my money out of it.
Yep.
Same with a lot of things
Yep.
that we buy. We just buy so well. Next question. More?
Well, I was gonna say, like, it's just kind of funny thing, but I know it doesn't apply to everybody. But if you're really famous, you can just buy a bunch of stuff, sign it, and then sell it back
Well,
for more than.
If you're really famous, it's more of a hassle than it's...
Yeah, probably so. I'm just saying, like, just sign Wheeler on the lens of this lens, and it's worth double, right?
So you think that's going to...
It's my new business model.
Yeah, well, good luck.
It's gonna
with that.
work.
All right, next one. Hi, guys. Are you using auction-style listings? Can you share your opinion on auction-style listings? Don't use them too often, although I just listed my iPhone 6 Plus at auction. And then for various reasons, I don't want to mess with how the auction ends because I've had too much trouble selling my old smartphones. And so some guy who refurbs the phones made me a quick offer after I had listed it for $150. And mine had a crack on it and had a magnet on the back, and it was locked into AT&T, and I'm too lazy to unlock it. So I took that, and so within 30 minutes I had the thing packaged up and sold in cash in hand.
Yep.
We don't run a lot of auctions.
No.
I probably Apple products more than anything else if I run auctions because there's such a flow and such a demand. Things that there's such a flow and such a demand, I will occasionally. Also, lots, like 10 of something, if there's a demand that way, and if I can sort of buffer the condition, like some of the things in the lot are good condition, and some of them aren't so good condition, sometimes I'll put that at auction.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say one other thing, it doesn't apply to a lot of things, but if you have something that the market's unpredictable and there's not a lot available and it's a very desirable item, sometimes auction's the way to go because they'll sell quick at buy it now, and auction it has a chance to go pretty crazy. I've listed some personal cameras that just went ridiculous, like double what I would have listed them for at buy it now before. Just I don't know why, but it just hit the right thing at auction. So there's certain things.
the other, that's a good one. The other things that I'll put at auction is being in the camera business, as heavy as we are, we get totes and totes and totes of things that when we're done sorting through them are not worth selling alone.
Yep.
And so by the point of getting 2 or 3 or 4 totes, we have, we don't have anything mentally invested in those totes. We could throw them out and we probably would feel okay about it. So I will sort those into 5 or 6 lots and boom, shoot them out there. And every time we do that, it's $400, $500, $600 total, and that's all at auction. And that typically will go to people who use them in art projects, like the
That's
filters.
True. About that.
They'll go to people who refurb things. So we will run auctions in certain cases, but
Yep.
100% of what we list, less than 2%, probably less than 1% would be auctions.
Yep.
Probably less than 1%.
Yeah.
Okay. More and more we're becoming watched internationally, which is really interesting. We've got people who tell me they're tuning in from Europe, from certain places like Russia, Israel,
Demographics thing too.
Australia. Yeah, but you can zoom in, but
I see.
yeah, there is a way to look at
Yeah,
that.
you scroll over the country, I'll tell you how many views.
Lots of people from Canada, some from South America, all over the place.
Yep.
If you're out there and you're from a ways away, sometimes just say hi from where you're at. It's kind of interesting for us. Best guess on the swivel miles on Wheeler's chair.
Go.
Whoa.
Oh, I don't know. It's it's over 9,000. Okay. Old reference, weird reference, out of the way.
So when I come in there and put the camera on you, do you get nervous?
No, I just that's how I do it every day. I'm putting miles on that thing every day. If I have a speedometer on there, or whatever they call that thing that counts miles. It's not it. There's a speedometer, I'd be going 50 miles an hour. I don't know.
All right.
Yep. That was the joke.
Next one. What was your family business? My family business, I was involved in it from about 1995 until about 2003, 2004. Was the health business. My mom was a doctor of nutrition, and we had health counselors. We had a large store with health food, vitamins, and all the stuff along with that. We had some other services that we had there, like massage and different testing for nutrition and things like that. My mom started the business in 1986 or 87. So it almost made it 20 years. And it ended, unfortunately, my mom passed away suddenly, and it just was a real tough time. We couldn't quite recover from that. She was a hub, and I was the person who ran a lot of the business and built a lot of the systems and business around the idea of helping people get healthy. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Here was a good comment. Just a thought here, down with systems and goals. I think to be successful, we need them. I would just caution a bit not to manage your life away unless that's what you want. For me, there's a fine line. I want to be successful and support my own situation, but I don't want that monkey on my back of never having enough, or I must grow more and more and more. Absolutely, to each their own, but just don't forget why you wanted to do this reselling business in the first place. It's possible to grow into bankruptcy, both physically and financially, So the comment is, am I just after growing the business to grow the business, or is there an end game? And my end game really is this. A, I did this business to survive. B, I started to do this business to develop a training ground and an experience and a possible future for my family and those that wanted to continue it. C, this business is available as a training ground really for my family to either be in it or move on and do something else. And so I'm laying the groundwork for my kids, whether they stay in the business or this is a stopping ground to somewhere else. You all right?
Stretching out, man.
You falling asleep over there?
A little bit. Quite falling asleep, but I mean, I'm just kind of sore.
Well, I'll stop and you talk.
I'm good.
So, I'm not about just growing this thing huge like some mega corporation or something like that. Enjoyment of life, getting something out of life, adding value to my family. All those things are important.
Yep. Stretching my toes here.
I don't know what's going on over there. So, it may seem like I'm driven at certain times or that's all I'm after, but that's really not it. I'm trying to be an example to my kids. Like I said, I'm giving them a place to go. When I was young, I did not have an entrepreneurial outlet. I had to bang my head against a wall for a long, long time, go through the corporate world, bomb out of that, get involved in a lot of ups and downs, and then finally beat my head into this.
Yep.
So I'm trying not to make it too easy for Wheeler and Banana Peeler and everybody else too, because they've got to go through some of those same tough things or they're not going to see the full aspect of it. So whether Wheeler stays in the business forever or not, whether the other kids enter the business and stay in it or not, whether Lon quits her job and gets into the business, I'm open to all those things. But along with that, I've got to have my plan too.
Yep.
And I'm flexible. What would you like to say, Wheeler?
I don't know. Not much.
Really?
Yep.
Do you think I'm a slave driving boss?
Nope. Oh, just weirdly cramped up.
Yeah, you're over there kind of weirding out.
Like decramping.
Let's see. Somebody said that I'm not a politically correct people pleaser.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's a compliment, man.
It is. Let's see. Obviously, Wheeler is one hard worker and has great rebound ability. Most of his peers would have limped off into the sunset a long time ago. So they must think that I beat you up.
You ran into a wall and it just bounced right off. Whee!
All right. In the beginning of your video, you were talking about moving and having a ticking clock on that. Well, currently, our building that we're in is up for sale, and that I do feel the pressure of that. I don't like that feeling, and so a plan has been laid. Whether we're moving in 3 months or a year, we're planning to build a building and move, and that does feel better. Just look for the same price range buildings that may have the same cost as you have now, so your costs won't rise. Mortgage plus maintenance. Buy your building you're working in. When the mortgage is over your own, your building is free and clear. Pretty difficult to make you move from there. Well, we've been looking for a building. This building that we're currently in is, I don't think it's too big, but it is big. It's like 5,000 plus square feet. It's old enough and it's got real heavy maintenance possible issues. The roof just went out, and fortunately there was an insurance type situation on it. It was $30,000 to $40,000 to put a roof on here, and after a year of wrangling, I think they got their insurance to pay for it.
Yep.
If they didn't, they would have had a mess.
Yep.
And it was a mess anyway.
It's almost like a triple ceiling up there. They've
Yeah.
got built on top of everything.
Unfortunately, a lot of the buildings in our area are very, very old.
Yep.
And most of them, when you can buy them at any sort of a reasonable price, they need a roof. And that's expensive.
Yep. And there's also not a lot of options compared to
Well, there's big building
places.
options,
There are.
but there's not something that would be sized or priced in the range that we want, rather than these big old 100-year-old battleships.
I like those, but
But there's some downsides.
there's a lot of downsides. Yeah.
Now, the other downside with commercial buildings is the property taxes are high. A lot of them are along roads and places where you're sort of like a storefront,
Frontage tax.
and so you pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
For example, this building that we're in, being 5,000 square feet, the taxes are like $3,600 a year, which is like $300 a month. The building that we're building on our land is probably going to add $300 or $400 max to our taxes per year.
Yeah.
So that's like 1/10.
Mm-hmm.
Take that times 20 years, and that's a lot of money. So we don't need the frontage.
Yep.
We just need a space. Anytime you go to like the industrial park here, the taxes on those buildings again, insane. Insane. We have a picker out here that also repairs cars and builds like racing engines and such. He's got a nice sized building, but his taxes are like $9,500 a year.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's as much as we'll pay our new building in 20 years.
Yeah, so there's
That's far.
there's not a lot of options.
30 years.
I've looked at it up and down and all around, and although there's plenty of hassles to building your own building or getting somebody to build it and all that, it appears to be the best way to go.
Yep.
So we've looked. Your ideas are good, but we've looked. There's just not a lot of options. Now, we could buy a house, but unfortunately, the housing cycle goes up and down, and right now, there's a scarcity in houses in our town.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to build again. There's probably been 20 houses built this year. They might build another 20 or 30 next year. But, things are conservative out here, and we just happen to be at a point where housing is tight. So there's not a lot of options. We're going to build a building, whether it takes, like I said, 3 months or a year. It probably will be closer to a year. We're going to build a building that's going to be tailored towards our needs.
The ultimate building.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's going to be tailored towards our needs.
They're a super cool new office.
We're at 10 o'clock. We're going to go a little bit longer here. I know you want to do some listing. Let's hit a couple more.
Yep.
Beer sign question. Woo! I know you focus mostly on buying and selling vintage metal beer signs. Well, it may seem that way, but up until recently, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, I buy and sell a lot of stuff still. Is there any other beer memorabilia worth buying to resell? I see a lot of plastic cardboard signs and foil form signs. Not sure if there's a demand. Well, yeah, look up beer signs on eBay, top to bottom. Look at the number of how many are listed just under the search beer signs. Then go to the sold and see how many have sold in the last 30 or is it 30 or 60 days that it shows?
I think it's 60.
Look at how many have sold in the last 60 days and you'll see the size of the market. The problem on the lower end stuff is if it's lower and it's still like a big sign, a big plastic floppy sign, the time you spend with it for custom packing and stuff starts to cut into that.
Yep.
Look also on my Northwest Kansas and just search the word beer, and out of the 700 items I have listed, I bet you 100 of them are beer and they're not metal signs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I buy and sell all kinds of beer stuff.
Haven't found the Schlitz watch yet.
Budman.
Yeah, well, yeah, you find one of those somewhere. I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah, we've had Schlitz lighters and whistles. glasses and all kinds of things. So
Yep, somebody got a Schlitz watch for their retirement from Schlitz.
what Wheeler does here on cameras is he's always looking at camera listings that are for sale just to see what's selling,
Yep.
what's for sale. I mean, that's how you learn the
Either
market.
purposely or on accident.
Yeah, beer
Learned a lot of
stuff. I'm always searching the beer stuff on eBay, either narrow search like the word Schlitz tin sign or pre-prohibition sign. And then sometimes I'll just when I have 30 minutes, I'll just put in beer and I'll put newly listed and I'll just search all the items related to beer that are being sold, and I find all kinds of things I wouldn't think of.
Yep.
And so that's if you have an area of expertise, you can do that. And really, it's a day by day, month by month, year by year, cumulative learning. We did a lot more of it, but I always press myself. I always buy something without 100% knowing if it's good or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually our instincts are right, and as we go along they get better and better, but that's a way to learn.
Funny that sometimes the things I buy for myself that I'm like, oh, this isn't worth that much. I like it though. When I like something, usually it turns out to be valuable.
Yeah.
It sucks. Which I've decided I'm keeping the one watch. It's probably gonna go down in value after a while, but I don't really care.
Well, I think you can develop instincts, and I think when you're starting out, you're best to buy as much stuff as you can afford, but always buy the low end stuff and the great deals and the box lots and all that kind of stuff, and wade through it and learn as you go.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, if you're like, and I'm just saying this, I mean, if you're starving and you don't have the money to do that, you got to find a way to stop that first.
Yep.
There was a time in my business where I wasn't able to rely on my business income and I had to get a job. And then when I had that, and I'm not saying this is in anybody's example here, but I got that job, I stopped the bleeding on my family expenses, and then I was able to start buying again and slowly building and figuring out how to do that. And so you have to work where you're at.
Yep.
So, if you want to get into beer memorabilia, be buying the $5 items to start with.
Yep.
And the $2 items and the flats full of, beer coasters and all those kind of things first. Buy all the inexpensive stuff you can. Take pictures of all the stuff that you pass by and go home and look it up and see what you could have sold it for. You can always go back in cases. And then I feel comfortable now, and I didn't always, but I'll ask Wheeler this.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm out there and I come across the sign,
Yep.
and it's $500, $600, $700, $800, I might sweat a little bit, but do I buy it or do I not buy it?
Buy it.
Heck yeah. So, but I wasn't always that way. It took a lot of time to build up to that, to develop that risk tolerance and to develop some of that knowledge. It paid off. I bought that curved Miller sign,
Yep.
porcelain sign, not from a stooge, but from somebody who was in the sign business hardcore.
Like
Way,
crazy.
way more than I was.
Traveling to Germany and buying crazy signs or whatever.
Yeah.
That's some story about getting the other one.
So I don't know how he missed it,
Mm-hmm.
because he's on eBay too.
Yep.
Here's how he missed it. He was super busy.
He sells on eBay even.
He's super busy. He didn't find enough comparisons, and he just didn't grasp that this thing is odd enough that you just have to wait for the right guy.
Yep.
I bought it from him for $800.
Yeah. He didn't know you have to wait for the right guy. He was super firm on his price, but
Well,
yeah. And I was kind of sweaty when he bought for that. I was like, whoa.
and I paid
That's
cash,
crazy. Yeah.
and I sold it for $1,500.
Yeah. That's even crazier.
So, and I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying I started. What was I buying beer stuff 2-3 years ago? I was buying plastic
Yeah.
signs. I was
Yep.
buying swizzle sticks. I was buying beer tappers.
Yep.
I was buying shot glasses. I was buying
Coasters
and paper items. I was buying pretty bad plastic signs, pretty too much big, thin, cheap tin signs. And rather quickly it developed into a better business.
Yep.
Now I still buy plastic signs and things like that. I tend to buy the ones that I can buy for $50, $75. And like I just sold that spinning one for $270 recently.
Mm-hmm.
I sold the Schlitz one that I bought for under $100 for right around $200. You know, so there's money to be made on beer stuff besides the metal signs. The metal signs are like towards the top end, rarer, more extreme. You know.
Yep.
There's crazier stuff than some of the signs that I'm.
Absolutely. There's some that are preserved in such crazy shape.
You don't get much
really
whiffs of them, but there are collections that have
Graphic
all
collectors with thousands of.
Well, no, but they have
crazy
all
things.
the advertising stuff from the late 1800s.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah.
And-
I'm thinking more porcelain era, like.
No, before that.
Well, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm
And-
saying. Before that, that's even crazy. I forgot about that.
It's equivalent to the guys and gals that have like the automatrons,
Mm-hmm.
those weird automated mannequin things from the late 1800s.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
there's the same stuff in cigars.
Car museums.
Yeah, so that stuff exists.
Yeah.
But there's you know those are the people that spend $100,000 at an auction and don't bat an eye.
Yeah. There's somebody bidding for them too.
Well, they're calling in.
Yeah.
And they got their private whatever.
Yep.
So, is there a demand for beer items? It is a big market. By the way, dealer, my girlfriend would like to know how you handle the broken camera when you receive it back from the customer. Also, since you shipped it, UPS, will UPS claim help or UPS pay to return the camera? Well, this guy has disappeared.
Yeah.
This is the third or fourth day I haven't heard from him, so I don't know. If he wanted to send it back, I would take it back. I would refund his entire money. I would have to pay to ship it back. UPS is notorious for not paying on claims unless the thing looks like it's run over by a truck.
Yep.
So there has to be visible damage to the packing materials. Otherwise, if they take a package and shake it like this and it breaks inside, that is not their fault.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just where they're at. I hear FedEx is easier going on that, but I think you pay a premium for that.
Yep.
And we just don't have a FedEx place out here that makes any sense to use. So I keep packing stuff better and more of it gets through, and then I keep taking on more delicate and bigger and crazier things.
So it kind of balances each other out.
It does.
And that's what happens when we get something back. We like take it out of the box, drop kick out the door, and sledgehammer time. That's the normal procedure.
From what I
procedure,
understand,
right?
FedEx is probably the easiest to get a claim with. I have had some nice returns of money and claims on USPS. I don't think I have ever won a UPS claim,
Yep.
and I don't think I've submitted one within the last 5 years because I lost so many early on in our family business. It was a waste of time.
Yep.
And if UPS, if you're watching, I don't think that's the best perception to have. But also, there are so many fraudulent claims.
It will break your packages and not pay you for them.
I mean, there's two sides to
Great
the
slogan.
shipping business. There's the honest people that pack stuff well, that get stuff broken, and they don't get served necessarily 100%. Then there's the middle ground, which could go either way, and then there's all the fraudulent crap that happens out there.
I guarantee you, there's people trying to play the system on the claim thing.
So if I'm UPS, I don't know what to do.
Oh, this weird dongle is worth $1 million. It's broken. UPS, this thing looks like it's been run over by a steamroller. Here's a video of me running it over.
Now I will give you one story that puts UPS in a better light in a sense, okay? I have nothing against UPS. I've shipped, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 packages with them, and I've probably had real serious trouble with 10 or less.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I used to get UPS pickup, and then I stopped shipping as many big things for a while, and then I've never done it again. During the holiday season, they sometimes hire extra people, and they got a couple yahoos on our route that were timing themselves and having a great time running from the truck, running to the porch, timing themselves who could race back to they had two people in the truck, so they were racing each other.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the yahoos grabs one of my packages, which is a stereo receiver valued at about $300. And he's running and giggling and do, timing himself, and the other guy's going cheering him on, huh?
Just about to stop here.
And he drops it on the sidewalk while I'm watching. And he drops it on the sidewalk while I'm watching from my window.
Recapping last time on.
He didn't know I saw him do it. He dropped it, he picks it up, looks around sheepishly, gets in the truck and drives off. And I'm like, what the F did I just witness?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was hot.
Yep.
And I called in and I chewed the ear of the local person off. I said, what is going on here? I work hard. That's BS, blah, 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 blah. And so 2 or 3 minutes, I composed myself. I said, all right, no big deal. I think you wanted to know. That's ridiculous. Well, they fired both those guys the next day.
Yep.
And I felt bad, because even though it was my package, I mean, that's just who I am. I felt bad for the people.
Mm-hmm.
Because they got fired by their own actions. They weren't just doing it to me. I heard later they're doing it to everybody, not necessarily dropping everything. They deserved to be fired, but I was the one who caught them, called in, said, what the F. So they took it seriously.
Yep.
However, stuff like that does go on that's not reported, that's not seen. Those trucks bounce all over the place. They go down conveyor belts. They run heavy packages into light packages. Stuff gets bounced all around.
Viral videos of people drop kicking stuff over the fence.
So,
yeah.
When the day is done, you have to pack your stuff well. You have to pack it a little better than you think it would.
Mm-hmm.
You have to build in some damage control to your business. In other words, not everything is going to make it. You have to trust your customer and love your customer. You're going to take it up the once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to be happy about that? No. All right. I think we're about done. Somebody said your V-ball picture looked pretty good.
Cool.
UK shout out.
Wow, lots of comments.
Oh yeah. I think that's about as far back as we're going to go. So we've went over an hour here, probably an hour and 15 minutes. If you have a burning question, you can ask it anytime below any video. And I do answer some right on the vlog. However, I do prefer to do it in a question and answer thing like this. So again, 30 days from now, sometime in December, we'll probably do another question and answer. The best way to get questions answered is to wait until I say, hey, in a couple days, we're going to do a question and answer.
Yep.
Sometimes we might go 2 hours. Sometimes we might go longer. This time we got to cut it short. We got to make our number.
Yep.
Closing comments.
None.
All right. So how do you think it went? Scale of 1 to 10.
Pretty normal. I don't know.
New questions, new ideas.
Yep.
Always new things come out.
Yep.
I talked more than you did.
Yep. Well, I'm kind of just sore and end of the day here for me. So.
So I'm going to rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10. I think I did about a 7, 7.5. I feel aggressive, wound up. I would like to have done better. So if I didn't answer your question fully, and I did try to answer your question, this is one thing you can do. Anybody that feels like I identified your question,
Just leaning back, man.
but I didn't answer it fully, or you want to follow it up, do follow that up below, and I will attempt to answer that online on YouTube as soon as I can.
Yep.
You gonna be able to make it?
Yep.
What are you listing in there?
Shutter releases, new old stock, weird accessories, and just various vintage camera items as usual.
So I brought you a big tote today.
Yep.
Did you like it or hate it?
90% shutter release cables, 10% old accessories.
I had 2 or 3 different totes to choose from,
Yep.
and I had to make a choice.
Well, I found 2 new old stock Nikon focusing screens, and so far our experience with this one undisclosed location is phenomenal. Like these 2 focusing screens we got, at first I had the impression, well, these are just going to be the original focusing screens and other packages because they're mismatched and all this. Turns out both of them are rare, hard to find focusing screens, and they're switched packagings. Both the packagings are original, and they're both new old stock. $70 and $90 for Nikon focusing screens. I think that's the highest I've ever listed any of those for.
Oh, that's good.
So pretty good, and they should sell quick. This one had like 3 or 4 sold at 50 and 60 used and none listed.
Yeah, some of the camera stuff that we find, it never fails to amaze me.
Yep. So we probably paid $5 to $7. We paid up a little bit for them, but should be $70, $90. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I am satisfied with our results from time to time. And,
Yep.
and interestingly enough, I'm taking even more steps to be a nicer guy.
Mm.
One more day off a week, one day working on the business. I couldn't be mellower than I've ever been.
Yeah.
Oh, hats are itchy. I need a new hat.
Think about buying a hat at some point. I haven't ever worn a hat ever.
And my head gets cold.
Yeah.
I'm way up there.
Yeah. My hands get cold, that's it.
You need a
Face a little bit.
You need some gloves.
Well, no, eventually you get used to it though. That's the thing. I just stay outside long enough and eventually they just warm up.
Well, outside's different than in here. My head gets cold in here.
I see. Yeah. I won't have a brain freeze.
Maybe if you kept your brain warmer, your computer would work better.
Yeah.
Wheeler drinks a little too much sugar
A
pop.
little too much coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well. Well, thanks for watching. And I'm Dealer.
I'm Wilder.
We're the Crazy Picker Life duo. Banana Peeler's recording his own show. So if you haven't watched,
he's solo.
if you haven't watched the Banana Peeler show,
Sick BP.
look up Banana Peeler Show on YouTube and you'll find Banana Peeler Show. I think he just recorded a new episode. We're going to be previewing that tonight at 11 o'clock before we relax and watch some TV.
We get the exclusive preview.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to try to parody his intro, but I have no clue how to do it. It's too crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
It's pretty funny. I edited both of those, so those are 2 of my filmmaking genius.
Very, very skilled.
They're fun.
Very skilled.
Funny.
Very, very skilled.
Very, very skilled if I want to be. Otherwise, I just don't do much.
Thanks for watching. We do appreciate all your comments and support and thumbs up. And
Hopefully it doesn't mirror it and it's like...
we are a growing channel. We're approaching 150 daily vlogs in a row.
It's crazy.
That's almost, we're starting to look at being on for half a year in a row.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. I saw this other daily vlog channel and I was like, wow, 400 episodes, that's a lot. How have they done that?
Well,
and I realized we're like
I don't know who the longest standing daily vlog is.
I know.
But Adam the Woo is like in the 1500s or 1600s.
Yep.
And of course that's all he does.
Yep.
But it's not always been that way. He's had to, get through it. Just a mention, I'm sure everybody that watches a lot of different vlogs knows, but Casey Neistat, who I don't agree with a lot of his opinions.
Casey Neistat is out of here.
His daily
yeah,
vlog has ended. I see it blinking there.
Yep.
His daily vlog has ended, and he was an inspiration from the idea of daily vlogging to me. I enjoy his vlogs. He is done. So even the mighty can fall.
Yep.
All right, my light is blinking. Pick well, list often. Wheeler and Dealer out of here.
Hey, Wheeler.
Dealer Production.